There was a really big chunk in my life where I felt very lost because it was hard to figure out sort of what I was doing. I was living downtown for a period of time. I was moving around a lot. There'd be times where I'd be just like bumming on people's couches. And so it was sort of hard for me to, I think, settle on one specific medium because I was always told you have to find something and stick with it. I think from like a young age, I was doing a lot of art, and I had, growing up in Toronto, I had access to like a lot of different mediums of art and like music and painting. And so I think once you find one medium that you enjoy, you naturally try to gravitate towards another medium that you enjoy. And so I think I just started jumping from one to the other until I realized that some of them could like mesh together. I think the painting was sort of something that I just did on the side, and it was more there to express myself. And the programming was, I was a little bit of a rebellious kid, so the programming was, like, let's see what type of systems I could manipulate to get into, or, if I modified this, would it do this? And, creating stupid little programs that would be very obnoxious but funny. And then I realized, probably around like high school, that I was actually able to do something creative and constructive with it. And so I think it was weird because I had many different communities that I was part of. I also did like a lot of like writing and poetry in like early university. And what I started realizing is sometimes a lot of those like mediums and those communities don't like mesh together. And so when I started going over into like other mediums of art, I realized that, some of the people from those communities would view me differently because it's like, why is a poet trying to make games? Almost every day, I'm sort of figuring out who I am. I'm trying to determine my identity, and I think a lot of that subconsciously comes out in the art. And then the game design that I do is I do a lot of like indie style, weird avant-garde games that people might find bizarre. I mean, I grew up playing games, and so I was very fortunate enough that, I kind of was able to be introduced to games during the whole indie boom. And so the interactivity portion of it and being able to tie it to like game design and being able to tie it to something that like I played before it's interesting to watch everything kind of like come alive and see it move, almost like in an animation way. I think a lot of people in my generation specifically have heard a lot about, stick with something, focus on it, get good at that, make money off of it. And it was really, really difficult for me to, I think, navigate that way of thinking. And so if it's clearly something that you really, really enjoy, and it's clearly something like there's nothing else in the world, there's no other careers that you find yourself fitting into, it's best just to stick with it, because I think it's a lot better to fail earnestly than to succeed at something that you don't enjoy.